Hello everyone and welcome to my book chat of The Last of the Firedrakes by Farah Umaboy. Now I was supposed to be on the booktube tour for this last month, but the book didn't arrive at my house in time for me to read and put up a video about it. So now that I have read it, I thought I would just do a quick little book chat about it for you guys. I did write a review of this on my blog as well, so I will leave a link to that review in the description down below if you want to know my deeper thoughts on it and my deeper reasons for saying the things I'm going to say in this video. So I'm going to start by saying generally I didn't really enjoy this book as much as I wanted to, for reasons I'm going to say later on, but I will just first give you a brief little spoiler-free synopsis. So it follows Aurora, who is a 16-year-old girl who is an orphan, and she's not treated terribly well by her adopted family, but then she is transported through a portal to the magical world of Avalonia, which is inhabited by both mages and fae, and it's being ruled wrongly by an evil queen, and they see Aurora as their saviour, and she takes it upon herself to overthrow the tyranny that has befallen Avalonia and basically just put right everything that has gone wrong. So that's obviously a very brief typical fantasy synopsis for you. So I didn't really enjoy it, but I'm going to start with the things that I did like about it. So I really liked the fact that I could see where the author wanted to go with the world of Avalonia. I could see influences from Harry Potter, Narnia, Faraway Tree, lots of those really lovely popular children's fantasy series, and I really liked seeing those influences and being reminded of those series. I don't think it was executed terribly well, but I really liked what she wanted to do with the world. I also really liked most, if not all, of the side characters, particularly Rafe, who is, I guess, the male lead in this. He was very dark, very mysterious, very sexy, everything that you typically want in a romantic hero, if you like. I also really liked the magic system. I mean, this isn't a terribly original fantasy, if you haven't already guessed by the synopsis and the things I've already said about this, but the magic system was a little bit different to anything that I have read before, so I really appreciated that. And I think that pretty much sums up the things I did like about this book. So why didn't I like it? Okay, one reason I didn't like it was the writing style. It was very clunky. It had a very unedited feel, which obviously it has been edited, but I don't think it was edited terribly well. There was a lot of unnecessary description. It was a lot more telling rather than showing, which I know as a creative writing student in the past, we were always told to show our readers what's happening rather than just telling them. And there was a lot of telling in this. There was a lot of repetition as well. I don't know if it's because I read a lot of YA fantasy that is very good, like I read a lot of Sarah J. Maas and Leigh Bardugo, and they are obviously amazing fantasy writers, and I don't know if the fact that this was just so simplistic and so immature that it just didn't stack up against them. I'm not really sure, but I really didn't get on with the writing style. I just found it really juvenile and obviously nowhere near the standard that I'm used to reading from YA fantasy. I think the main reason, though, that I didn't like this book was Aurora, because she is the most infuriating, frustrating, annoying, immature, shallow main character that I've ever read. And I know that's a big thing to say, but she really is. I couldn't help comparing her to the likes of Selena from the Throne of Glass series, because Aurora is supposed to be 17, like Selena is supposed to be 16 in the first Throne of Glass series, and Selena is obviously very independent, she's very fiery, she's able to get herself out of trouble. Aurora couldn't be more opposite. She is saved by other people from all of the trouble that she gets into, and I was just so frustrated. I really wanted her to grow up. I really wanted her to show some fire. I really wanted her to show some leadership, and she just didn't do it. And to be honest, I don't really think that she would be able to in future books in this series. I just think that there wouldn't be enough time for her to realistically grow into the person that I want her to grow into, because this is going to be a series, and this is obviously the first book. The series is going to be called the Avalonia Chronicles. I don't know how long the series will be, but I don't really see Aurora growing into the sort of character that I would want her to be, because I always like characters, both male and female, to be independent and strong-willed and able to look after themselves. They're the sorts of characters that I love reading and that I really gravitate towards, and Aurora just really couldn't be more opposite. So that was really annoying, and it was really irritating that she was the main character, and obviously she was the character that I was spending most time with. So I think that's probably the main reason that I didn't like this book. Another really big reason that I didn't like it was just the unoriginality of it. Like, I really wanted something different from obviously a fantasy series, and the plot was so predictable. Like, all of the twists really didn't work on me, and I don't know if that's because I do read a lot of YA fantasy, and obviously this wasn't original, and maybe that's why I was able to guess everything. But if you read a lot of YA fantasy, none of the supposed twists in this book will work on you, I'm afraid. You just be able to guess everything right from the start. So that was really annoying, because obviously I really like books that keep me guessing, and I like surprises towards the end and things like that, and this book really just didn't give me that. So overall, I would say that it's probably best suited to people who are just starting to read fantasy, because obviously you won't be able to predict the plot as well as people who do read fantasy a lot would be able to. And obviously the writing style is more suited to early teens, maybe even pre-teens, I would say, because I think people that are more experienced with certainly YA fantasy, you will find the writing style, and certainly you'll find Aurora very immature and infuriating. So yeah, I would say that it's a good start into fantasy, but if you're already a fantasy fan, I wouldn't recommend it, because as I said, it's nowhere near as good as the YA fantasy that everyone reads and loves. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much all I can say about this book. I don't think I will be picking up any of the sequels in this series, unfortunately, and I really wanted it to be better than it was, but I mean, you can't like every single book you read, can you? So yeah, I mean, there were a few things I liked about it, but it just really wasn't for me. So that is it for my book chat about The Last of the Firedrakes. Have you read it? Do you agree with me on anything I've said, or do you completely disagree with me? Please let me know. I would love to know either way. I will leave all my social media in the description down below. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye.